Good day to all. First of all, thanks for being present. A special thanks to Mr. Silvio Levy and all the persons in charge for having given this interest to our region of the world. I'm not going to take much of your time. Maybe some of you will ask why me having the responsibility of this workshop. It could have been my friend and good partner, Joan Vitre, because our companies work together. My company is LuxAssist, and we work very closely with Joan, with his company Sesame. He knows the region just as much as I do. He could have been here taking care of this. But since I'm on the field, I know all these dear guests very good. And so I'm the link between the brands and the market. So this is why. We'll go straight, because we don't have much time, we'll go straight to the subject, which is the development of artistic perfumery in the Middle East. And the theme is évolution Parfumée. So why the term revolution? It's in many ways, we've got different examples of this revolution in our region of the world. And it is through our dear guests that we will describe a few examples of such revolutions in the world of perfumery. I think the first revolution is that this part of the world has always been very concentrated on well-known brands, selective brands such as Dior, Chanel, YSL, those kind of brands. So the development of artistic perfumery by itself in this region can be considered as a revolution. And then we will have other examples to show you that in many ways our dear friends have turned this into a really long-lasting revolution which has not yet finished its work. I'm sure we'll have many new things to come in the region. I'm aware of many projects that are coming. So let's go directly and hear it from our guests. And I will be starting with my dear friend Haifa. I will let you introduce yourself first, and we'll go on with the questions.
Hi everyone, my name is Haifa Rajhi. I'm the CEO and founder of O100. I'm opening a boutique in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I welcome you all in my opening in a couple of months. Yeah. Okay,
excellent. Haifa, I've been seeing Haifa now for me as your friend and as colleague. I've been seeing you for 2 years now in Esxence, and I've always seen you work and go to look for brands with very big enthusiasm. And this is my first question. Since we said that artistic perfumery is a revolution in our region, from where came this interest in you for artistic perfumery? Why go for these kind of brands, and why not go for some brands that are already well known?
First of all, childhood. I've always loved perfume, sniffing all the perfumes and notes. Then comes culture. I mean, being raised in Saudi Arabia, perfume is embedded in our culture, from our perfumes to our oud, to our bukhur, through our Arabic coffee and food. So perfume is part of who I am. And then obviously I'm a very passionate person about perfume, and the best part about it in my part of the world is where art might be underappreciated or undervalued. The art of perfumery is always very much appreciated. And O100's target clientele are people who have traveled the world, have seen the best concepts in the world, and know already their artistic perfumes. So we're bringing this back to their hometown with the same expected tailored service and experience. So yeah, I mean, with all these factors, combining all these factors, I decided it's a very good opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Another difficult question would be, in my opinion, you've done a double revolution, because first of all, you decided to go for artistic perfumery, but then you, as a young lady on a very masculine market, This is by itself a very big revolution. So do you think that it was even a bigger challenge being a lady doing that, or have you used that as a marketing tool actually to attract even more attention on yourself and on your concept?
Well, actually, I think the biggest consumers for perfume in the Middle East are women. Don't you agree, guys? So, I mean, coming in the region, in Saudi, the biggest consumers for perfume are women. And then, in my opinion, women are being, from the role of women has changed, the view of women has changed from being illustrated as a marketing tool to more of a person who is achieved by their, who's respected by their achievements and accomplishments. So I invested in this industry because of my passion for perfume and my love, and then the emerging consumer base into artistic perfumery, and the consumers are more and more educated in this part now. So it's about time.
Okay, yeah, I agree. A more general question about, once again, I saw you going around the exhibitions. On which criteria do you go and choose the brands that you would like to have present in your store? And then once you choose them, what are your expectations from them? What support do you need from them?
Yeah. First of all, I'm proud to be associated with all the brands that O100 carries. And I look forward to having new relationships with the best brands in this industry. Second, David Frosad and I work very closely in choosing the brands, making sure first of all, we believe in it, they fit with O100's vision, and they fit with the market. Basically, when I work with a brand, it's more than the normal trading relationship. It's more of trust, a partnership, and sometimes friendship with the brand owners. In return, I expect transparency, ongoing communication, and training, especially in an emerging market like ours. So yeah.
Okay, excellent. Last question. I'm sure that the organization of such professional exhibitions helped you a lot in choosing your brands and finding your brands. What would be the message you would have to give to Mr. Sylvie Levy, for example?
First of all, I mean, I am happy to be talking to all of you here, and I met the most influential people in this industry in one roof, in Esxence. So for me, Esxence is a very good hub, meeting all the, seeing all the new creations in this market, meeting all the new brands, and starting new relationships and new communications from people from all around the world who share the same passion and love for artistic perfumery. So yeah, and I welcome you all in my shop opening.
Okay, thank you very much, Haifa. Is there any other point on which you would like to insist, which were not in my questions?
No, I'm happy. If anyone has any questions for me, I'm more than happy.
We will have at the end a session
okay.
of question and answer. Okay, very good. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, good luck with your opening that we're all looking forward to.
Me too.
Okay, and so I'll then move to my next dear friend, Mariham, that actually I met last year, exactly 1 year ago here in Esxence. She lost her wallet and it was a tough. Okay, so I'll let you introduce yourself and your concept, and then we'll go on.
Well, my name is Miriam Habashi. I'm the managing director of Cosmolux. I am actually a pharmacy graduate who always worked in cosmetics, and I also did the EFCM at Izipka.
Okay. So my first question would be a bit similar to one I asked to Haifa, is that like in every revolution, you need a passion. And so for artistic perfumery as well, I felt just like Haifa that you had this passion, you already knew the brands when you come to the exhibition, and so I would like to know how you, in your country, how you heard about artistic perfumery, and what was it that you were attracted to?
Well, it all happened when I was studying at Izipka. I was introduced more into the perfumery world. Also, I was introduced to those niche or artistic perfumery, and just when I decided to do my own business, I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to bring just another cosmetic brand from abroad to the Egyptian market, or just open another perfumery shop. And I have passion for the niche perfumery, so I decided to open my own shop. Actually, at the beginning, it was only importation, but since in Egypt there's no distribution network, I decided that I will have to open my own shops. So we came with the idea of Danei Fragrance Bar.
Okay, and actually, I think the timing of this decision came with a real revolution that happened in your country, a political one. But nevertheless, I've heard you say that you are planning the opening of a bigger boutique, shop. A second shop.
Yeah.
So what does this mean? Does this mean that despite the political problems that there may be on our region of the world, you think that there's a bright future for artistic perfumery in your country?
Yes, definitely. Otherwise, I wouldn't have opened a new shop. But you know, Ali, when we opened this, when I created this whole idea, I had also another challenge, not just the political situation, the challenge of actually introducing a new brand, a new concept in an Egyptian market, and convincing the consumer to buy perfumes of brands that they don't know with a higher price. At the same time, there was the revolution, and people had, you know, even if they had the money, they have cautious spending habits. This was even more challenge, but yet we had to take the risk, and we just went with it. And I think it was very successful, because so far, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't measure the success in terms of turnover, but there are some indicators that that I could say that they are measure the success. Like, for example, we were approached by this mall of the new luxurious shops that's going to open. They're the one who approached us, and in this mall there will be new brands. There will be launching new brands in the market, like for example Versace and Moschino, and they will open for the first time in the Egyptian market. And this is also a good indication of the potentiality of the Egyptian market, because otherwise those brands wouldn't invest in the Egyptian market if there was no potential. The other thing, there are other things, like for example, we were recommended by a website called Cairo 360, which is a critical online magazine, after 3 months as well. We were covered by, we had a lot of interviews, like with me personally and about the shop, and we had a lot of press coverage as well. And most importantly, it's the customer, the feedback by the customer. Like, we're having customer coming again to our shop, buying again the perfumes, and having customer coming from the other side of the city with all the traffic that we have in Cairo. This is also indication of that people are looking for something different, something new, and they also love the brands.
Okay, thank you. So as I said, we noticed that there's still a lot to be done on each market for artistic perfumery. It's still going to be
true.
Yeah. Another question, which again seems as a challenge for you, especially ladies who have undertaken this, because you are, the three of you, my guests, are very young.
Yeah.
So whereas when you think of artistic perfumery at the beginning, you would think maybe that it is too sophisticated, maybe for an older generation. What does this mean in your country? What is the average age of the clients that you have? And do you think that artistic brands have to do some effort to attract a younger generation, or no? It's
yes, definitely the range is 30 plus, and I think it's a matter of when you're young, you don't have this. If you have money, you wouldn't spend it on perfumes. You need to have passion for something like that. So I think the average, there's no average, 30 plus until whatever. What do the brands have to do something like that? I think awareness and education, because in countries, I was just discussing with the girls, and it's in Egypt, it's not like in Saudi Arabia, for example, or the countries from the Gulf. In Egypt, nobody has an education about perfumes. They don't know what is a top, hard, bottom note. They don't know anything about the ingredients. So if you start educating people at a younger age, like for kids for schools or workshops or whatever, something like that, this would help so much. Maybe it's not going to help in the near future, but it's something that we could work on with the brands.
Okay, excellent. One last question, since we're talking about this education stuff like that. I think that in your family you are also involved in some accommodation, hotel business,
yeah.
and so maybe if one day we were due to do an exhibition for artistic perfumery in the Middle East, Egypt would be a very nice destination.
Yes.
Would you or your family be happy to like help organizing such an event?
Of course. Egypt is a beautiful country, and we have so many destinations other than Cairo. And if you just decide something like that, I'll be more than happy to help you organizing everything, and everybody is welcomed over there, of course.
Yeah, and do something that an Iranian can get a visa to come to Egypt.
Well, everybody could come except you, Ali, probably.
Okay, I will ask Joanne to join.
Hopefully things will be better politically.
Okay, thank you very much, Miriam. Is there anything you would like to add yourself?
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Sylvia Levy. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna move. I'm gonna do my small revolution here now, because you would think that I'm going to go to the third lady. No, I'm going to go to my masculine guest, Mr. Dhaher, who is a very good friend as well, that I managed to know now for a year, I think. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll go on with the question.
My name is Dhaher bin Dhaher. I'm from Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and I'm the founder and creator of the brand Tola, and also a niche concept store based out of Dubai called Villa 515.
Okay, excellent. Just like the ladies, men as well can be passionate. So Dhaher was so passionate in this field that he created his own artistic brand. So I would like to know, for you, where did this passion came from? Where did this idea of creating your own brand and not only working on other brands came from?
Well, and I think this is something positive for the right side over here, because actually it was my main inspiration creating my own brand was my family, and it basically was my mother and sister. And as Haifa said, that the Arab women are the biggest clientele, and it's the same thing at home. And basically I would see my mom, my sister working on fragrances, oils, making the bakurs themselves for their own use, basically not on a commercial aspect. And I would see a smile, which I would use, and especially if my mom was mad, I would just talk about fragrances. She started to smile, so I was using it as an escape tool for my side. So basically, after seeing the joy that perfumery gets to them, I decided actually to go into this and creating my own perfume brand, which should be on the artistic level, and other than my passion and in the perfumery itself.
Okay, excellent. And again, continuing on the creation of a brand, of an artistic brand, how do you see the future of such creations in the Middle East? Do you think that other brands such as Amouage, Sheikh Designer, or your own brand will continue being created and that will be developed in the future?
I mean, definitely. I mean, today a lot of new brands are coming out of the region itself. I mean, I think keeping designer Sheikh and Amouage, they're already been market leaders. I mean, I mean, even myself, I cannot come and benchmark myself with them on an. I mean, I'm 1 year old. They are 10 years and 10 years plus. They are, and I think they are already international today. How do we define international brands? That they've already been outside their home country, and plus that. I mean, today a lot of new brands are coming, and I think today what myself did, and this was my main. Today I'm more actually international than being in the Middle East itself. I mean, in the Middle East as a whole, as of today, I'm only in Dubai, but I'm more into the international countries, so around like 13 locations, and that was within a 1 year span. So it's, of course, you would see more coming, and at the same time you see that how the international market are actually accepting the idea and are actually enthusiastic about accepting brands coming from us.
Okay. Very interesting. Now talking about your, I don't know if you would call it retail concept or villa. It is really a special concept, and how do you feel yourself a bit threatened by big names such as Paris Gallery, Harvey Nichols? How would you describe yourself comparing to them?
Well, if it was I mean, in terms of threat, I mean, basically I don't see any threat because we are totally different concepts, different target audience, although sometimes we do share the same target audience. They've got, and the number of brands they would carry is much bigger selection, and it comes in different categories from luxury to some artistic perfumery and so on. But today, as you see, I mean, all of the stores that you're mentioning, they are actually in department stores. I mean, they are in shopping malls, which is the typical concept that you would see in every Middle Eastern country. What we created is a total different concept, and that's actually, I mean, from the name you will see it's a Villa 515. So Villa is actually the address, and it's in a which used to be a residential area, which became commercial, and it's only focusing on artistic and exclusive fragrances, which are not available even in these kind of, in either Paris Gallery, Harvey Nichols, or all the main department stores. On top of that, we added our own atelier or a laboratory where people actually could come look at the raw materials. We create for them their own exclusive concepts. So and either sit in the store, the lounge, the garden, wherever they would want. So it's basically not someone just walking in, getting what they want and would leave, but it's actually giving them and educating them about the brand, about the materials, giving them an understanding about the whole thing and the concept of what's artistic perfumery. I mean, they know them, most of them, they know them from outside. So you can see we created a totally new aspect. So it becomes more of a place, just like when you go to a barber or a salon. I mean, you would always go to the same place because you feel very comfortable, and this is the idea. So we wanted to do something more of a home for them, and then where they can check.
So this is why a villa would
Yes.
feel like more at home. Yeah. Okay. My last question would that: what do you think about the challenge that these ladies have undertaken in a region such as ours? Do you think they have a more difficult challenge than you? And if you would have to give an advice, what would you tell them?
My only advice would be to keep on going, because I think the market really needs that. And it's an area which is not mature yet and not saturated in that region. And despite the challenges that I actually could understand coming from within Saudi or within Cairo itself, but it's still, the opportunities is there, and the market has a huge appetite. And I think as of today, I think they could consider them, they are the pioneers in this industry, and people will always remember who was the first entering in that level. And I think I congratulate them on what they did and wish them all the best.
Thank you very much, Dhaher. Is there any other point you would yourself like to point out?
I actually would like to thank Silvio for actually creating this panel and creating this whole concept, which actually helped and bridge a lot of gaps that we would, I mean, it made it easier for us as brands to show people what we have, and as brand hunters to get brands to our own stores. and thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my dear friend, Mr. Farrukh, that I've actually just met now, but we all know Ajmal very good as a brand and as retail concepts. So I will let you first introduce yourself and then we'll continue.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Farrukh Kidwai, and I head the exports division of Ajmal perfume manufacturing and oud processing industry, based out of Dubai, where we have the factory and the head office and the entire infrastructure. All across the Middle East, we have 150 stores, including Saudi and Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and of course UAE is our home turf. Yeah, so I guess that's about it.
Okay, that's already very big. My first question would be, actually, since I believe that really you are one of the pioneers in this field, artistic perfumery, developing brands and retail concepts. When do you think in time that interest for artistic perfumery started in the Middle East? As I said, it's a market, it was a market mainly concentrated on commercial brands such as Dior and Chanel, but when did this interest start for artistic perfumery?
Before answering your question specifically, like many panelists have mentioned, perfume is a very intrinsic part of the culture from the Middle East. I can substantiate that point by saying that the average consumption of a person in the Middle East of perfume is 5 times more than the Western counterpart. And even in the cost sensitive countries, people budget for perfumery within their salaries or whatever they are earning. So perfume has been really a very important aspect of the culture. And UAE got its independence early 70s, and then we started, people from the Asian side, they came and they settled down in UAE. So initially it was more of a Danalud and Agarwood and Bakhurs and Dakhuns. Even we started like that. Ajmal was established in 1951. Now it's, by the grace of God, 65 years old company. But the artistic perfumery, I can safely say, early 90s is where we started coming up with a packed product especially the oriental ones, which caters to the nose of, the Khalijis or people in the Middle East. Those were a bit artistic, if I may use the term. But if we are referring to the real luxury and the niche, perfumery in the Middle East, early 2000, I can say it for the brand that I'm representing here. One of our director who passed away 2 years back, his name was Mr. Nazir Ajmal. He was a very famous nose globally, and he's very well respected even by top perfumers of the world. He could sniff 1,000 perfumes in a day, which is a record. After 300-400, the nose starts bleeding. So he used to say that, look, creating a perfume or a fragrance is an art. There is no science in it. If people knew it, then every perfume would be a hit. But of the 750 brands launched globally in a year, I think a couple of them make it to the top that people talk about it. So he said, when creating a fragrance is an art, why don't we club it with the real art? So that's where the concept of Eternal, the brand that I'm representing here in Esxence, came forward that, look, we pick up an art And so we picked up a Murano crystals and we created a perfume, which is not the commercial types, but a luxury and niche. Because when it comes to that level of perfumery, it's all about indulgence. It's not like picking up a bottle of perfume and spraying while you're leaving home. It becomes indulgence. I mean, if you look at it, for example, oils, it's not easy to apply. You have to open the bottle, take out the applicator, put it on your hand, rub it behind your ears. It's all about indulgence. And people only indulge when they're very passionate about it. So we created this brand early 2000, to answer your question specifically, to club the two arts together. And this is the first time we are exhibiting to the world, in a sense, that look, we have a brand that we have created, which is crystal, gold-plated, 0.3 microns, and very, a very different and very enticing fragrances. You're all welcome to stand 64 if you want to have a look.
Excellent. Thank you for this precise answer. Once again, I'm going to rely on your past, and you are one of the most established companies in this field in the Middle East. You've got your brand, your retail concepts. What would you think about, again, the challenge that these ladies have undertaken, or that Dhaher has undertaken by creating his own brand? Is it for you taken as a competition or a threat, or do you feel that this competition is necessary actually for the development of artistic perfumery in the Middle East?
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate all the ladies and Mr. Dhaher for taking this very entrepreneurial route, which is the need of the hour. Because up till now, let's say, for the niche perfumery, even as I speak now, I can say that niche artistic perfumery, it is in a very infant stage in that part of the world. Now, taking the initiatives of these ladies and Mr. Dhaher as a challenge, no, I mean, it's all part of growing up. The more the brands, the more the innovation, the more the creativity, and I see that more and more people hopefully will join the club and come out with many more new brands, and that's how a particular category grows in a region, which is a very healthy sign. So yeah, good luck, ladies and Mr. Dhaher. I mean, it's a welcome step.
Thank you very much. If we're gathered today here is because one of the big names of this industry, Mr. CEO Levy, has believed that perfumery industry has become enough important in the world to pay a great attention to it and to have a workshop on it and so on. Do you think that in general Europe is paying enough attention to the development of artistic perfumery in the Middle East, or do you think that we would be needing more support from this side of the world to develop that in the region?
Well, first of all, Esxence is a good platform for people like me and Mr. Dhaher with his brand Tola to come and exhibit to this part of the world, to our friends from mainland Europe and other parts of the world. Secondly, the help and support that Mr. Sylvia can offer. Perhaps a couple of workshops, if not the exhibition, in the Middle East, in any destination that he choose, to bring about more information, more knowledge, more intricacies, more nuances of this particular category would not only help the principals like ours and Mr. Dhaher, who are the brand owners, but even the consumers, the retailers. Like ladies are opening up stores, and there's a lot of work to be done, not only in improvising the brands coming out of the Middle East in this particular category, but also teaching or informing the consumers who are ready to pay. I mean, as I said, perfumery is a very intrinsic part of the culture. People spend 5 times more. So there is a big potential out there. So yeah, I mean, I mean, this is just one thing which I have mentioned, but he can think of many other things, you know, so that he can help this particular category grow in the Middle East.
Do you think one of these helps would be like someday to come to the Middle East and to propose to a big company such as yours to organize something like this together there? Don't you think that we need that there?
Oh, well, why not? I mean, we have to see what format we are talking about. But yes, I'm open to any suggestion and ideas to improvise this particular category, to enrich it and make it more popular.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Is there any particular point yourself you would like to insist on besides my questions?
Well, I don't know, but just to bring it some informative and fun element to this whole workshop, you know, otherwise it becomes very clinical, you know, people ask questions and you answer them and it becomes like, oh, okay, you know, this is another workshop. Since people here are connected to the perfume world, let me just quickly touch on the historical aspect, which is very interesting as a matter of fact. To the best of the knowledge I have and the evidences that I have, the perfumery started from Mr. Alireza's country, which was ancient Iran. And when I came to know about it, even I was surprised. I said, really? They said, well, you know, this is how it started. And then it was gradually taken over by the Egyptians, which perhaps Mariham, right? Yeah, might be knowing. And this is during Pharaoh's time, because they were considered to be very close to God, and, you know, all the pyramids that you see there in Giza. So what they did is they created some kind of a perfume with roots and balms and a few other aromatic gums. And they used to spray it on the walls of the tomb to make it, you know, to smell good. So after that, you know, pharaohs started saying, well, why don't we use it? So the first reference to the known brand of the perfume was called Haifa, Kyphe, I think. That was about 5,000 years ago. So from Egyptian, it went to Hindus, then Chinese, sorry. So from Egyptian, it took, the Chinese took over, then the Indians took over, Israelites took over, and then came Arabs and Greeks. And then, of course, you know, the whole world started using it. And the perfumery, even though started from, you know, Egypt, in the Middle East, it came to Europe somewhere around in 1400 century. And then in 1800, if I mistake not, Grasse, which is the perfume capital now, they started really a lot of work. They planted a lot of things, and a lot of experiments were done. And there were two very important people. One I remember, his name was Ibn Sina. He used to be, sorry? Yeah, so he was from a place which is now Uzbekistan. So he is the person who started the distillation process. So he took all the roots and flowers and this and that and started the distillation process to come out with oils and other things, which is very important in creating a fragrance. So that was my little history about perfume.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll share with you.
Great. Thank you very much. So now, last guest. Okay, my dear friend Ilham, who actually has very recently opened a Jovoy boutique in Rabat in Morocco. So I will translate for Ilham. She will talk in French and I will translate. Je te demande de te présenter juste.
Alors Ilham du Maroc. Jovoy du Maroc.
Jovoy du Maroc. D'accord. So we'll go directly to the questions. My first question will be a bit similar to the one I've asked the other ladies. Is that maybe a bit different, but because in Morocco, in my opinion, before I knew Ilham, there was no development of artistic perfumery. For me, it wasn't a market for that. So I was surprised when one day a young lady came and said she wants to invest on such a project. So I would like to know why on such a market where there wasn't an interest for that, you came up with this idea.
Alors l'histoire elle a commencé par le fait que moi j'aime le parfum, que j'étais une très bonne cliente du parfum de niche, parfum artistique. Et comme on investissait déjà dans les spas, je suis investisseur dans les spas, je vivais dans les senteurs et les odeurs et mes clientes me demandaient toujours qu'est-ce que vous portez comme parfum, qu'est-ce que vous avez au spa comme senteur. Et à partir de là, j'ai commencé à passer beaucoup plus de temps dans les boutiques de niche, des parfums, d'artistique. Et un jour, je me suis retrouvée en train de penser à investir dans le parfum artistique. C'est tout simple que ça.
Okay, so actually, Ilham herself has always loved perfume and especially artistic perfumes, and she used to wear a lot. And she has a very important business of spa in Morocco. And her clients kept asking her, what are you wearing, what are you wearing? So this intrigued her even more to go and discover even more. And then the idea came that maybe, so since she feels that there is this interest, maybe she could bring those products to her clients that she already had. My second question would be that you did that in another way, in a bit different way than the other ladies. You decided to do this revolution with the backup of Europe, and you actually went and decided to get a franchise from an existing very big name of perfumery in Paris, which is Jovoy or Jovoy. What did this bring you? What did Mr. François Hénin, who's here, bring you as a support? And what did the name of Jovoy bring you?
Ah, ok. Elle va me... Ah, ok. D'accord. Okay.
And then you can speak French.
Ok.
No problem.
Ok.
You can speak English.
Ok. Ok.
Voilà, quel soutien a pu t'apporter M. François Hénin et le nom de la boutique Jovoy?
Alors, je pense qu'au début, c'était pas du tout une histoire de franchise. C'était histoire d'ouvrir une boutique de multimarques de parfums artistiques. Mais comme j'étais cliente de la boutique de Jovoy, où je passais beaucoup de temps dedans, il y a eu un lien qui s'est créé entre François et moi, on discutait beaucoup. Il accompagne toutes ses clientes et ses clients de la même manière. Il leur donne beaucoup de temps, il leur explique. Et puis là, il a commencé à me faire aimer encore plus le parfum et m'apprendre aussi un peu les parfums de niche. Et je revenais dans sa boutique une fois par mois, en train de regarder ensemble. Et puis un matin, on allait ouvrir une boutique normale de parfums rares. Et puis un jour, il me dit, pourquoi pas une franchise, pourquoi pas? Il m'a demandé si j'étais prête. Je dis, pourquoi pas, on va commencer l'aventure ensemble. Et puis, heureusement qu'il y a eu quand même un encadrement de François par rapport à ma boutique, parce que je suis toute jeune dans les parfums de niche, qui veut dire j'aurais pu commettre aussi beaucoup d'erreurs. Que là, je pense que je commets des erreurs, mais beaucoup moins importantes que si j'étais seule.
Et tu sens que le nom d'une boutique parisienne comme Jovoy a pu t'apporter encore plus de clientèle, parce que j'imagine qu'il y a beaucoup de Marocains qui voyagent à Paris et qui voient le nom.
Oui, nous sommes très proches de la France. Le Maroc est très proche de la France. On est toujours en train de revenir vers Paris pour chercher la belle enseigne. Il y a eu cette éducation, c'est que c'est toujours la France pour chercher le meilleur produit. Et c'est vrai que Jovoy, c'est une belle image et une belle boutique.
Okay. I mixed up. I asked my previous question in French, I think. Sorry. Do you need me to repeat the question? No, it's fine? No? Okay. My next question will be that, okay, we were all attending the opening of Jovoy in Morocco, and we saw the big interest, and now that several months have passed and that the boutique is already there, do you feel that what you have invested on and your project is going the way you want, and do you feel that so there's enough space to maybe have a second boutique in another city like Casablanca or anywhere else in Morocco? Jovoy boutique, I mean.
Heureusement qu'on a envie d'ouvrir une deuxième boutique. Oui, mais c'est vrai que au début, on préparait la boutique, on était tout excités d'ouvrir quelque chose de nouveau. On était très emballés. Mais c'est vrai qu'à partir où les mois commencent à passer, et là, on voit vraiment le vrai marché. Parce qu'il y a une maturité qui se place. On se voit avec un stock, on se voit avec des marques. Parce que quand même, on a commencé avec plusieurs marques. On voit qu'il y a des marques qui bougent, il y a d'autres qui ne bougent pas. Et ça, quand même, ça donne un peu de stress. Même si le chiffre, il y est, je veux dire. Oui, pour moi, le chiffre ne veut rien dire par rapport si j'ai un stock de parfums qui marche et d'autres qui ne marchent pas, où je suis en rupture au bout de 2-3 mois. Ça, c'est le vrai dans ce qui va se reproduire pour tous les jours. Mais c'était quoi?
Tu penses qu'il y a encore de l'espace?
Oui. Le marché est tout nouveau et c'est très ouvert. Le Marocain, je parle de mon pays, les Marocains aiment le parfum, ils adorent les odeurs. Et puis on a le parfum artistique, je pense qu'il a sa place au Maroc. Mais il faut juste éduquer le client à sentir et le client marocain aime le luxe. Et moi je pense que dans le parfum artistique, nous avons ce côté luxueux de prendre en charge, d'expliquer, de donner du temps au client. C'est plus comme les parfums de distribution où le client va prendre un parfum parmi plein de marques et de partir incognito. Là, c'est vraiment comme on rentre dans une boutique, on est bien reçu.
Okay, and I presume that for continuing this education of your clients, you will need the support of the brands that you carry in your boutique. So now we're here to talk about enhancing things and making things better. Without naming any brand, I'm sure that for some of the brands you have more support, and for some others you have less support in terms of visuals, training, and those kind of things. What would be your request? What are the weaknesses that some brands have and that they can enhance to help you more?
Alors, comme je disais au début, j'étais très bien entourée de l'enseigne que je porte de Jovoy, et aussi j'étais entourée aussi d'un notre groupe qui s'appelle Intertrade, qui était très très professionnel avec nous, même si il n'y avait pas de vrai partenariat, mais il y avait un partenariat moral, où ils nous ont aidés aussi dans la formation, dans le choix des marques, dans la reprise de produits qui n'ont pas marché, qu'ils ont vu qu'ils étaient qui ne bougeaient pas chez moi, pour ne pas faire une autre commande, ils ont essayé de nous... J'ai trouvé que... C'est pour ça que j'ai dit, j'ai beaucoup de chance d'être par là prise en charge par François, de l'autre côté d'être prise par Intertrade, qui vraiment, nous n'avons pas de contrat, mais c'est vraiment plus moral qu'autre chose. Mais ce que je demande aux marques, c'est pas de venir et de vouloir rentrer sur un marché. Il faut savoir que quand on rentre sur un marché vierge qui vient de commencer, il faut savoir qu'il faut donner beaucoup de support, beaucoup de formation, beaucoup de temps avant de gagner, avant de passer à penser aux chiffres ou combien de produits nous allons vendre. Ça c'est la vraie... je veux dire, il faut s'ouvrir sur ça. C'est qu'il faut savoir quand... Moi, je parle de mon pays, le Maroc. Une marque qui doit rentrer sur le marché marocain ne doit pas juste dire combien je vais vendre, mais est-ce que je vais rester longtemps dans ce pays? Pour rester longtemps dans le pays, il faut aider dans la communication, aider la personne, l'investisseur qui vous a fait confiance, de l'aider à avancer dans le temps avec vous, mais pas d'essayer de gagner, parce que on a un produit qui ne marche pas, on fait marche arrière, on n'aide pas. Il faut rentrer au Maroc avec le fait qu'il faut, pendant peut-être les 6 premiers mois, peut-être la première année, de aider l'investisseur. Sinon, l'investisseur va être un peu déséquilibré, un peu fragilisé.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any point you would like to add yourself?
Je pense que tout est dit. Je vous remercie. Je remercie les gens qui sont là pour nous écouter, pour nous donner la chance aussi de nous exprimer. Et voilà. Et merci à toi, Ali. Merci à tout le monde.
Merci. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have time to talk about Jovoy Tehran? Okay, so up. Okay, so he's not here. Mr. Danei is not here. I would like to just... Who will ask the questions to me? No one wants any questions to Iran. I'm just going to say a few words on his behalf. He couldn't have his visa in time, but it was important. This as itself is a bit like a revolution as well. Mr. Danei has opened a Jovoy boutique, a franchise as well in Tehran. Now he's opening a second one, and there's a shop-in-shop which has been opened as well. Iran has always been very, very attracted to perfumes, but again, Iran has always been, like I think the rest of the region, very attracted to well-known brands. Again, like Dior and Chanel and others. So we were surprised when, I would say, like 6-7 years ago, a young gentleman who was a very new distributor came in with a brand called Amouage. Nobody knew. And everybody was saying that this is a big, big challenge. He took the retailers to Oman and invited them to discover the brand. So from there, the interest for artistic perfumery developed until today, where there's really, really a huge, I would say, fever for this field. And I'm very, very happy to see that. But at the same time, since it's again a new field, like in your countries, it has to be done the right way, the correct way. So this is where I'm happy to have good friends such as Morteza, such as my friend Ali Nouhnajat, who's here, who are doing a great job on very good brands. Morteza is doing a great job on the brand Jovoy, on a brand like Parfum d'Orsay. Ali is doing a great job on Zerjof. These are brands that I would have never seen coming so early to Iran, but they are all developing very well. And the fact of bringing in then a concept, again a Parisian concept, with the support of a very experienced man such as François Hénin is very important for us, because this gives then the rhythm of this market of artistic perfumery in Iran. Going through all the questions I asked you, I'm going to reply myself to several one of them, but the most important for me is first the communication between the markets and the brands, which this part of it has to be really done by the customers, which are the distribution companies or the retailers that we have on each market, or by guys like me or Joanne, who are agents, to just well transfer the communication between brand and clients. And then we need really a good support from the brands in terms of training, visuals, and tools to be able to present their brands. It's for themselves to present their brands correctly on each market. The brands which will succeed, I'm sure, I hope that all of the brands here will succeed, are the ones who really think ahead, think about the future. Don't think that I'm doing this product now, let's see how it will do. They already know there are 3-4 other major launches in the future, and are ready to take the risk to invest on them themselves and then introduce them to the markets, not counting on the clients to come and buy and then let's see how it will go. We need well-established brands coming in, solid ones, and then I think all of that all together can bring up the quality of the perfumery market in our perfumery brands in our market. Then, in that case, smaller brands, bigger brands, they will all grow together. This is about it. Everybody, I think, today knows that Iran is one of the biggest markets of that region. On behalf of Morteza and my colleagues who are working in Iran, I would say just take the chance maybe once to come and see, and you will feel yourself what a great potential is there, and many, many big things can be done on artistic perfumery in Iran. So just be my guest. Whenever you want to go, just call me and we'll go together. Okay, thank you. We have a small moment if you have questions for the guests. We still have some time, so just feel free.
Following me, the true revolution is not to have niche brands sold in the Middle East, because a lot of niche brands have been sold in the Middle East. Myself, I launched Artisan Perfumer 15 years ago in the Middle East. So the true revolution is not having niche brands sold in the Middle East. The true revolution is to have a service and the knowledge about the brand. So could you tell me more about the service and the knowledge you have implemented in your store?
Okay, who was the question?
Anyone?
I've worked a lot basically on the service, because this was what differentiates my store from department stores and mass consumption outlets. Service is very important in this industry and in this kind of perfumery art. So for my store, myself, other than asking each and every brand, and as Ali said, sometimes it's a bit hard to convince for training and training all the staff for the shop. But I also had a school coming from all the way from Paris to Riyadh, just to make sure my whole staff is trained and ready for the opening, with the storytelling, the notes, the experience, and everything for the opening.
In Egypt, the situation is different. It's the first time that that all those brands is launched in Egypt. So it's totally new for the market. The second thing that, as I said, that nobody has the awareness of the perfume. So what we give as a service in the shop is everything. You know, if you've seen the design of the store, it's completely different. It's like royal designs. The girls are really trained very well, so that when somebody enters the shop and asks questions about the perfume, they keep on telling them knowledge about the perfume, history about the perfumes, which doesn't happen in any other perfumery shops, where they just ask for, I want a sweet perfume, and they just show them the sweet perfume that they have. It's extremely, completely different. So our customers leaving the shop, they like the whole experience of the shopping experience, you know, with the service, with the information and everything. I think that's what makes Le Nid different in Egypt.
Moi, je pense que j'avais répondu à la question en disant que le client marocain aime être reçu. Et dans notre boutique de niche, de parfum, et c'est le concept, c'est que le client doit être reçu avec beaucoup en lui consacrant beaucoup de temps, lui expliquant l'histoire du parfum et aussi la décoration de la boutique, le lieu. C'est plus une bijouterie qu'un magasin de parfum de distribution. C'est la différence qui fait ça. Merci.
I mean, from our side, what we did, within a store level, is actually getting the brands themselves, hosting them in the villa, and where they get to meet majority of our actually VIP clients, or people who are the high net worth individuals who would come and spend, who will be our targeted audience. And other than myself actually being present most of my time, and is basically also educating people with the other brands. So what we did actually, one of the examples is last February, although we launched mid-December, we actually got two of our main brands in the villa to be actually available. And actually it was Naomi Goodsir and Renaud, he's somewhere here. And actually Gerard also from Histoire du Parfum. And the main objective was for them to interact with the clientele, and the clientele or the people who are passionate, not even just as customers, would actually come and mingle and talk. So we make sure it wasn't like it had to be more of a casual event, where it's more of a friendly event and where people would be free. And this is what we kept doing. And it's actually, they're not hearing it just from salespeople, because salespeople at the end of the day would like to sell a product, but also is actually, and actually it's an honor actually having also these brands coming with us, because I mean nobody could actually explain or describe their products as them. And for us is creating that base for them, and to make it easy for them to actually come from their home country despite how busy they are, but making sure that they are there and meeting the right target audience who are within the I mean who comes actually towards the villa or to visit us over there.
I thought I'll be excused. David, your question was about the information and training, right?
Yeah, and the service and the investment, because it's very important to have a very beautiful store, to have the best brand, to have the training. But if you don't invest on the people, if you don't invest on the sales staff, even if you have the best training, then you will not be able to give really the information and the passion you have all for this perfumery.
Okay, let me tell you a very interesting fact as far as informing the consumers are concerned. I'll take your question in part. The perfumery in the Middle East is, as I said, it's a very important part of the culture. And because it has been used since Prophet's time, which, you know, it's a very important thing. So when the kids, they grow up, they grew up in that environment that, you know, they come to a certain age, they sniff the perfume and they can tell you the ingredients that have been used in it. So that's the level of maturity, you know, people in that part of the world has vis-a-vis the perfumery. Now coming to the training, yes, every brand owner does the training. We have an in-house trainer. We at times invite from France especially. One of the trainers, unfortunately he left and he joined a company in New York, so we have to look for another trainer now.
I am available.
So yeah, the training keeps on going on. As I said, we have in-house trainer, but that's primarily to the sales staff of our store, which are 115 numbers. But the one brand that I'm representing here, we have only one store, which is Eternal by Ajmal, only in Dubai. Now, to answer your question about the consumers in general, there are two things which are happening, and one was a very revolutionary thing that happened in 2013. We have a CRM program, and through that there's a dedicated database which we cater to. There's a separate team altogether that looks after them, sending the information, telling them about the product, blah blah blah. But the thing that we did last year was unique of its kind in the world. It was called Ajmal Young Perfumer Talent Hunt. It was a mammoth exercise, and I can't tell you precisely the kind of investment which we made, but it was, you know, very heavy investment. I'm not carrying the magazine, but I have it at the stand if anybody wants to have a look at that. So we went to schools and colleges, and there was a full mechanism. There was a pyramid test, and there was a funnel test, and there were a few tests, you know, and the kids were asked to participate in it, and then they gradually moved up. And the guy who has won that talent hunt is going to create a youth fragrance for Ajmal. So that was done in UAE, and perhaps this year or maybe next year we will go across the GCC. So that is creating a real buzz, you know, because the parents are involved, the grandparents are involved, the extended families are involved. So everybody is talking, oh, you know, so it's not only about using fragrances, but making them aware, you know, the different nuances about the fragrance. Have I answered, sir?
Yeah, that's okay, Farrukh.
Do I have to answer too, or it's okay?
We can talk afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
I got from Ilham that she had some challenges. She's happy, but she is, you know, facing some challenges, maybe in stock, etc. So when we're asking about opening a second boutique, she's hesitating maybe. And I'd like to know, how does she plan to do? Is she going to address that? Is this for her a challenge that she's not ready to face? Is she going to discount this merchandise? Are the brands going to be helping her to take them back so she can continue what she started? What is the next step?
D'accord. Alors, pour ce qui est, pour répondre à la question, au niveau du stock, il y a des marques, c'est vrai que, comme j'ai dit, j'ai commencé avec 25 marques. Déjà, j'ai un peu de visibilité par rapport aux marques qui vont continuer avec moi et les marques qui ne vont plus faire partie de notre enseigne. Et à partir de là, la deuxième boutique, il y aura moins de stock, mais avec moins de marques, mais sur des marques qui ils ont vu le jour et qui marchent très bien chez moi en boutique.
Merci. Thank you. Thank you. I think we're done. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.
Just one last thing, since this was about the artistic perfumery. I just wanted to share something that we have recently developed. This is called Dainulud Ittihad, and this is the bottle, $25,000, just 10 pieces. So we are moving to that level. Nice, huh?